Hello again, as you know, I am Eli the Computer Guy, and today we're going to do a demonstration for the Windows Server 10 technical preview. So if you're like me, with the whole hubbub about Windows 10 and the technical preview coming out last week, you may have missed where they talked about this server. So in fact, they're supposed to be coming out with a new server for 2015, you know, the latest and greatest from Microsoft. So I took a look around, and if you go to Microsoft website, I'll give the link below, you can actually download the technical preview and get an idea of what this server is going to be like. Now, I'm going to kind of demonstrate it for you today, but the one thing to realize is that the server is not supposed to come out till like the third or fourth quarter of 2015, so a lot of things will change between now and then. This is by no means a finished product. I just kind of want to give you an idea of what's coming down the pike so that you guys kind of have an idea of where things are going with Microsoft. So if you want to play with this yourself, what I'm going to be showing you today is I'm running this on a virtual machine in VirtualBox, so you can download this for free from the Microsoft website, and it's a trial copy that will keep going until Microsoft decides to kill it. So let's go over to the computer, and I can kind of show you what's going on with the new server. And what I will say is it seems a whole bunch like Server 2012, minus the Metro or modern interface. It's like looking at it, you go, hey, look, it's kind of like Server 2012 without that weird start screen. It's a bit like, you know, Windows 10, where you look at it and go, hey, look, it looks a lot like, you know, Windows 8 without the start screen. But anyways, let's go over and take a look at it, and I think you will be pretty interested. So this is, again, this is the Windows Server Technical Preview. You can see the little thing down here, and basically it installs really easily. So I installed this onto VirtualBox. It took all of about 10 minutes, absolutely no problems. All you do is you download the ISO, and you get it running. Didn't have any issue, and this is what you're looking at. So if you look at this, even the gray screen in the background, this looks a whole bunch like Windows Server 2012. They do have this Welcome to Tech Preview. You can click on that, see what there is there. But, you know, whatever. Here, this is where you get the start menu again. So now you see that nice little Windows icon. If we click on this, hey, look at that. It is a start menu. So this, again, it looks a lot like Windows 10. You know, instead of having all programs, it now says all apps. If we click on this, it'll open up and you get all the different options that basically you would expect. If you go to administrative tools, you can click on that. It gives you a lot of the administration tools. And then if you click on the administration tools, what you'll notice is, again, this basically looks like Server 2012, or frankly, computer management. Most of these look like, you know, what we've had going back all the way to Server 2000. So you can click on Device Manager, you can click on Disk Management. You know, this is the same old stuff that you should be used to, so no big deal there. Now, if we exit out of that and we go down to Server Manager, what you'll notice is, again, Server Manager basically looks like Server Manager straight out of Server 2012. And again, one of the things I really want to emphasize here is this may change going into the future. Because right now, again, they have about a year before this will go live, before they'll actually start selling this. So I have to believe some of this user interface and configurations will change. But, you know, you get the same option for, you know, local server, all servers, file and storage and all that kind of stuff. If you go up to manage, you have the same options here, you know, add roles and features, remove roles and features, all of that. And if we click on this, I mean, basically this looks identical to Server 2012, you know, next, next, next. You go through here, you select what you want, Hyper-V, DNS, whatever, and go through the process. So that's all pretty standard, you know, compared to Windows Server 2012. You go up to tools. Again, this gives you the tools, the normal options, you know, PowerShell is here, Task Scheduler, Services, Performance Monitor, Event Viewer, Defragment and Optimize, so on and so forth. So really, honestly, I mean, this is, I mean, again, it's Server, it seems so far, it is Server 2012 with the start menu. You know, if you do right click, you get screen resolution. If you go down here, you get Task Manager, Properties. You know, you can go in here, you can look at performance and users and all that kind of stuff. So if you're used to the Windows environment for servers, looking at this, you should be pretty comfortable with what you're looking at. And really, that's all there is to it. I've played around with it a little bit. and it's pretty same old, the same stuff that we've been dealing with for a while now. So it looks like Windows Server Technical Preview, this new server, will be a good thing. One of the things that I will tell you is a lot of people talk about how bad Microsoft operating systems are. Of course, some of us remember Windows Millennial Edition. A lot of us remember Vista. Obviously, we all remember Windows 8. And so people get scared about new versions of Windows. The one thing that I will say, having gotten my MCSE back with Windows NT 4.0, is all the servers have been good. NT 4.0 for its time was a good server. 2000 was a good server. 2003 was a good server. 2008 was a good server. A little quirky. 2012 is a good server. So looking at this, I have to believe they'll just keep going on with putting out good servers. The servers themselves have always been good for their times, depending on what you're dealing with. So overall, I think it looks like a good thing. Is definitely something that you can take and play with, and that you should feel pretty comfortable with. Just because it's a server, there's nothing here that seems really strange or whatever. So one of the questions you may be having then is, so what are supposed to be the new differences? So with this new server coming out, why would you want this server over Server 2012? The big things that I've heard so far is that PowerShell, they're going to be making PowerShell much more powerful. So PowerShell is the command line interface for the new Windows servers, so that you can type in commands like you would in Linux or DOS and have them run. So apparently they're going to make PowerShell much more powerful. The other thing that they're going to make much more powerful, and again, this is the good thing with Microsoft World, and Microsoft servers are generally good, is that they're going to make maintaining clusters a lot easier. So what clusters are is basically you cluster multiple servers together in order to provide a certain service. So you cluster SQL servers together, you cluster Active Directory servers together, or you connect Hyper-V servers for replication, right? So basically you can create your own private cloud. So whenever we talk about cloud computing, remember, cloud computing doesn't have to be on the internet. The concept with cloud computing is simply the idea that you don't really know where something is stored or where an instance is running at this particular time. You look at 10 servers and somewhere on those 10 servers is the file you want. You type in a command, you get the file, but you don't know it's specifically on server 2 or server 8 or server 9. You have the instances up and running of virtual machines, and again, the virtual machines, you have access to them, but you don't specifically know if they're on 6 or 7 or 8. Well, the problem is with all the host, the problem is that in order to maintain the host machines for these clusters can be a pain in the butt, because when you do things like upgrade them, when you do things like update them, when you do maintenance to them, they're tied to that cluster, so that can cause a lot of problems. Sometimes you have to turn off all the services. Sometimes you have to do other kinds of weird things, basically, so that you can upgrade the cluster. So if you have 10 computers in a cluster, the question is how do you update them? If you have to run Windows Update, or if you have to do a new upgrade or whatever. So the idea with the new server is that they're going to be making that process a lot easier. So the idea is that one server can be updated, but it will work in a mode that all the other servers can communicate with until all the other servers get updated. Then once all the servers in that cluster have been updated, they will automatically upgrade themselves to a new performance level, and that can be a really good thing. Again, it's one of those, it's the hard problem with the world of IT, is you create a cluster of computers in order to decrease the potential of downtime, to increase redundancy, but then how do you maintain that cluster? And so the idea with this new server is that it will be much easier to maintain those. Again, we will see how that works out in 2015, but again, Microsoft has a pretty good track record with that at this point. Again, Server 2012 I think has been very good, and so if this builds on Server 2012, I don't think there should be many problems. So if you want to download this and play with it, definitely go ahead, but don't worry about it too much. I will warn you, if you really want to learn Windows servers, download and play with the Windows Server 2012 R2 trial, because that is That is the actual server. That's the actual operating system. This is just kind of a technical preview thing to play around with and get an idea of where they're going. I wouldn't run much of anything on this in the real world. So that's my thought. But overall, it looks like they're doing well with the server, and I'll be excited to see what the final product will be. Spiceworks.com. These guys have the free network management software, the free mobile device management software, the free community with millions of users. So if you're an IT professional and you need support, Spiceworks is a great place to go. All of their stuff is basically free and just an absolutely great thing. Again, if you have any questions that I don't answer in the show that are technical in nature, we're talking about Active Directory synchronization between sites in remote areas. If you click on the link below this video, that will take you to the Spiceworks community. They have millions of users there that will be able to help you out. So take a look at spiceworks.com. Total Seminars, totalsim.com. If you're looking for your A+, your Net+, your Security Plus certification, they have video training, practice test, exam vouchers, and more. If you are on the CompTIA track and you are looking for study prep material, study guides, that type of thing, take a look at Total Seminars, totalsim.com, TOTALSEM.com. Veeam.com, VEEAM.com. If you just virtualized 100 servers and now you're trying to figure out how to back them up, they have solutions for ESXi, they have solutions for Hyper-V, and as you guys like, they have free stuff. So if you are dealing with a virtualized environment and you're trying to figure out a backup solution, take a look at Veeam.com. NerdsWeCanFixThat.com. If you're thinking about starting your own computer services company, but you don't want to have to worry about coming up with a logo and copyright and trademark and all of those kinds of things, you may think about buying into a computer services franchise system. Nerds We Can Fix That is a computer services franchise system. They have 62 franchises throughout the United States. They can franchise in every state other than Hawaii. They also franchise internationally. If you're thinking about starting your own computer services company, you should contact them, fill out the information below, or give them a call. Again, as I will say, franchise systems are great for a lot of people, not so good for others. Always make sure to do your due diligence, but if you're thinking about starting a computer services company anyway, you might as well contact Nerds We Can Fix That to see what they have to say. Altaro.com, ALTARO.com, if you're dealing with virtualization in a Hyper-V environment. So we're talking about Windows Server 2008 R2, 2012, and 2012 R2. Take a look at Altaro.com. They have a number of Hyper-V backup solutions. They have the free version, which will back up to 2 VMs for free forever. They also have the unlimited version, starting at only $400 per host. I think this is a very good value. So if you are dealing with Hyper-V virtualization and you need a backup solution, take a look at Altaro.com. Adaxes.com. If you're dealing with Active Directory on a large scale, so you have hundreds of users to add, hundreds of users to disable, so on and so forth, you may want to take a look at Adaxes.com. This is Active Directory management and automation software. So this tries to automate and simplify the Active Directory workflow. So if you are in a large scale Active Directory infrastructure, take a look at Adaxes.com. Plixer.com. Plixer deals with NetFlow analytics software. So NetFlow is a component of Cisco equipment that shows you what's going on at the network layer, what devices are talking to what other devices, what kind of network jitter, all of that kind of stuff. So Plixer has a free piece of software called Scrutinizer. Scrutinizer is a free NetFlow network traffic analysis tool. So if you want to play around with NetFlow, if you want to see what's going on with the network layer and you have Cisco equipment, take a look at Plixer.com. Click on the link below this video. It'll bring you to this page where you can download Scrutinizer, the free NetFlow network traffic analysis tool. SchooleyMitchell.com. If you're trying to find better internet or telephone service, or if you're trying to find less expensive internet or telephone service, give Schooley Mitchell a call. Basically what these guys are telecom consultants. You call them, you say what you need for yourself or your client, and they figure out the best option. They'll examine your existing services and review your bills to make sure there are no errors. Then they'll keep an eye on your services moving forward so that everything remains optimized. Because Schooley Mitchell is objective and independent, they have no ties to vendors. You know they are always your best interests in mind. The best part is there is no fee for their services. The only cost is a portion of the shared savings over a set period of time. If they don't find savings, there is no cost to you. Schooley Mitchell. Is managing users and computers on Active Directory too cumbersome? Download SolarWinds' terrific trio of free Active Directory admin tools today and start saving time on those Active Directory management management tasks. These free tools help you manage and remove computers and users from Active Directory and allow you to add users in bulk. The free tools include Inactive User Account Removal Tool, enables you to scan Active Directory and optionally remove users who have not logged in for a certain amount of time. Inactive Computer Account Removal Tool enables you to scan Active Directory and optionally remove computers that are over a certain number of days old. And User Import Tool saves time by giving you the ability to create users in bulk using a CSV file. You can even specify the attributes. Also be sure to check out SolarWinds community page, thwack.com, to connect with more than 100,000 IT professionals. So take a look at solarwinds.com for their free and other tools. So this is a hands-on review of the Vivis Night 3 13,000 milliamp hour battery. So you guys know I get a lot of these external batteries, and the reason I keep reviewing them is, oddly enough, they all have their own little things that make them kind of cool. And what makes this kind of cool is not only is it a 13,000 milliamp hour battery, but it actually has a little stand in here built into it for your smartphone. So if you're going to be on a flight or something and you want to watch movies on your smartphone, you can plug your battery into your smartphone, prop your smartphone in here, and just sit and watch movies. So when you think about 13,000 milliamp hours, basically that's how we measure how much battery power is in here. And so with most smartphones nowadays, they have somewhere between 2,000 to 3,000 milliamp hours in them. So for a full charge, it's between 2,000 to 3,000 milliamp hours. In a normal smartphone battery. So this is the equivalent of about 4 charges for your smartphone, just to kind of give you an idea there. Now what makes it cool is, like I say, it has this little stand thing built into it that makes it pretty nice. So we've got my nice little broken Galaxy S4 here that I always use. And so this is the Vivis. So it's a 13,000 milliamp hour battery, and you can kind of get the size of it putting it in my hand, or with the Galaxy S4 you can kind of get the size. So it's about an inch longer than the Galaxy S4 and about twice as deep. So it has a decent size to it, but it's not absolutely ridiculous. If you look at it, it's got a little power switch to turn the battery on and off. It has a USB connector on it. It has the power connector here. But the cool thing with it for smartphones it actually has the little adapter already built into it. And so in this little groove where this adapter sits, that becomes your stand. So what you do is you plug your phone into this, and then all you do is you set this in the little stand thing right there, like that, and then you can sit there and you can watch your movies. So you put on the latest Transformers, you put on whatever. Again, I watch a lot of movies when I do flights. So when I fly cross country, I always rent like 2 movies each way. And so what's really nice with this is you can make sure that your phone has enough charge. It's sitting here in its nice little stand. Away you go. So this is a pretty swift little gadget when you really think about it. Now, if we go over to the computer, I can show you. You can buy this on Amazon.com right now. I'll give you the link below. But it's supposed they say it's $150. Yeah, whatever. But the sale price the sale price is $36.99. So for a 13,000 milliamp hour battery for $37, I think that's a pretty good deal. Especially you get that nice little stand thing in there. Overall, it seems like a good thing. Again, obviously I plugged my phone into it and it seems to be okay. So no real problem. So I think this looks good. It makes a lot of sense. And again, this is the kind of thing you have to be thinking about whenever you buy like new batteries or any kind of these gadgets nowadays. What are the little things that they can add to it to make it a lot more useful. So RAV Power, they install like a lot of LED lights in their batteries. Certain batteries can charge more than one device at one time. All of these batteries, and that's one thing to think about whenever you're looking at external batteries. Almost every single external battery that I've seen has its own little niche. It does something really, really well. So you just got to look at it. So 13,000 milliamp hour battery that acts as a smartphone stand, I give that a thumbs up. Really, really good idea. Seems to be built well. Like I say, I've plugged my phone into it. The battery seems to work well. Good build quality, whole 9 yards for $37. Seems like a good deal to me. So this is the Vivis Night 3 13,000 milliamp hour battery. Definitely something to look at if you are the type of person to try to watch movies on your smartphone. So this question comes from Theo. So I just got a job as an IT support engineer. My tasks are troubleshooting all PC-related problems of the company's base building, Windows Server that uses Active Directory and such. I was wondering if you can give me advice on how to further my skill set by telling me what certificates to go for. I was thinking a Cisco CCNA and something that certifies my server administrator skills. So this person actually now has a job. They are in fact working, and they're wondering what certification they should go to for next. And what I will tell you is, as I would tell everybody, is really this is not the question you should be asking me, frankly. This is a question you should be asking your boss. Seriously. I don't know what it is with people. Like, you're sitting there with the person that can give you the promotion, with the person that can give you a raise, and then you go ask somebody else what you should do with your career. Really, in these situations, time and time and time again, what I tell people is go talk to your boss and see what the hell your boss needs. If your boss needs a Cisco person and you get Microsoft certified, well, that's not really going to help them out. If they need somebody Microsoft certified and you get Cisco certified, that's not going to help them out. If they need somebody to do scripting and you get one of these certifications, not going to really help them out. So what I would say is go talk to your boss, talk to your manager and say, I am young, I am excited, I want to get ahead in my career. What does this company need? If you look your boss, your manager square in the eye and you say, I want to make this company more profitable. How do I make this company more profitable? That is the best way to go, to be honest with you. So that's what you do. Always go to your boss, always go to your manager. It's because it's so funny. I get all these questions. It's like, again, it's people with jobs. And it's like, go talk to your manager. Ask your boss. Right? Okay, so beyond your boss, what I would argue is if you're going to go for certifications, I always argue the Microsoft certifications. So is the MCITP or no? I guess that's no longer around. So the MCSA, I suppose, is the one that is around now. Would be the minimum 3 tests. I would say get certified in Microsoft Server, so Server 2012. That would be the best way to go as an administrator nowadays. Again, in the real corporate world, everybody runs Active Directory. Everybody runs Microsoft. If you get Microsoft certified, you're going to be doing pretty good. Again, it's not that if you look at things like Cisco certification, it's not that Cisco certification is necessarily bad. The world just doesn't need as many of them. And if you look at software-defined networking, I would question how few of those networking people would need to go into in the future. But I would say if you're going to go for a certification, go for Microsoft. That is what I would say. MCSA. What I think you'll be most successful at, this is something to think about though, is if you're in the IT world now, if you're young in the IT world now, I would really look at scripting and coding. Really, if it was me, I would say go out, start looking at learning Python, start looking at learning Ruby on Rails, start looking at those web scripted languages, because that really is where the future is going. If you look at where server management is going right now, it is just insane. I mean, it used to be, one server administrator would deal with 10 or 50 or 100 servers. I was just in a seminar where they were talking about having 200 virtual instances on a single physical box, and that everything is being automated now. So what I would argue is being young in this field, really where the money is learning these scripting programming languages. Again, Ruby on Rails, Python, start learning OpenStack, Hadoop, these kind of technologies. That is really where it's going. Actually dealing with the servers themselves is becoming less and less and less relevant. We're able to deploy these things using scripts. You put them into a cluster. You have all kinds of stuff going on. It's just not... again, there is money in it, and there will be money into it in the future, but it's not really where the real money is. So, if you want to know how to get ahead in your job, first go talk to your boss. After you talk to your boss, I would, go talk to your boss. If your boss doesn't give you any good advice and you want a certification, go for the Microsoft certifications. But really, like I say, I would say look at Python, look at Ruby on Rails. That's where the real money and that's where the real success is going to be. So this question comes from Blake S. I'm wondering if you could speak about how to stay motivated in business when things don't quite go right. I'm betting many people get down when they hit a bump in the road and give up, as is the feeling I have now. My heart tells me to keep chugging along while my brain is saying too much stress. That's a question, and the honest answer is I don't know how to tell you to keep motivated when things are getting too stressful and when things are getting too hard. One of the things that I will tell you though, and this is one of those things that you're not supposed to say, so of course I'll say it, is if your heart is telling you to keep going and your brain is telling you it's time to stop, one of the things I will just have you ask yourself is it actually time to stop? One of the biggest problems that I see in the real technology world and the real business world is people don't know when the hell to stop. That is a massive problem. You know, there is a server, the server broke, and the technician gets in there and they think, I have to fix this server. And the thing is, at a certain time, it's no longer worth fixing the server. If you can go in there and you can bring that server back online in 3 or 4 hours and, swap out a hard drive or something, then it's worth the time. If the server is down, and this is in a production environment, if you can't get it up in 4 or 5 hours rather easily, then what you may have to do is simply pick up the phone and call a vendor and get a new server shipped in. One of the problems that I see is people get so tunnel visioned, I have to fix the problem. Well, what you have to think about is what is the problem? The problem isn't necessarily the server's broken. The problem is that there are services that the clients on the network need that are not being provided. So if this server is broken and you cannot fix it in a timely manner, you may have to buy a new server, install it, get it up and running so that the services will be performed. That is the biggest thing. Again, I had a number of employees back when I was a consultant, and every damn one of them would get tunnel vision. They'd be like, I have to fix this problem. Because we dealt with small businesses, and so the small business routers that we used were these like $150 $200 business class routers, but they worked fine. It was one of those things. They were inexpensive, they were good enough quality. They generally lasted about 5 years. They're rather easy to administer, so they were good. Inexpensive for the client, easy for us to administer. Great. Man, every once in a while the things would break, just like they break, and really the answer was, oh, it's broken, pull it, throw it away, plug a new one in. I literally had one of my employees try to spend like 10 hours troubleshooting. It's a $150 fucking router. I don't care. Throw it away. Even if we can't bill the client, I would prefer you throw it away and bill me. But that was the thing, is they would get tunnel vision, and so what they would look at is that this router is broken, how do I fix the router? When the real problem is the network is down, how do I get the network back up? So the first thing you have to think with yourself is your brain telling you to stop when you should stop? Again, also, overall with this profession, again, this is a very stressful profession. This is a profession that needs a high level of quality control, of just dedication, all this kind of stuff that a lot of people don't have. A lot of people get in this profession because they think it's good money and good benefits, which obviously it is, but then when they get in here and they don't want to do the job. They want the money, they want the benefits, they want the respect, but they don't actually want the job. You know what I'm saying? And so those people are going to fail miserably. They're just not going to do very well, which means they're not going to get paid a lot of money, which means they're not going to get a lot of benefits, so on and so forth. So that's the other thing is this something that you really want to be doing? That's really what I would say, is make sure that this is something that you really want to be doing, because what I have found is usually when you don't want to push on, usually when you don't have the determination to continue, it's because you don't want to continue. Right? That is really what it is. You keep trying to convince yourself this is what you want when it isn't. Again, I have done technology now since I was 19, and I've gone off to do other things. I've bounced around the world. I've done this, I've done that. I've had a lot of opportunities. And again, for me, I could be making a lot more money doing other things. I'm doing well now, but I could make multiples of what I'm doing right now doing other things. But I love technology. The reason that I keep pushing through and figuring this out and screwing around is because at the end of the day, I enjoy it. This today may suck. This week may suck. This month may suck. But I know I'm going to get back to the place where I enjoy. Yes, this is pissing me off. Yes, this is tedious. Yes, this is horrible. But I know everything will get back on track. I have that faith. Whereas if you don't actually like doing this, then it's just a miserable mess. So I would say make sure this is something that you actually want to do. If you're asking me this, asking me a question like that, I would probably say it's not. To be honest with you, I'm the IT. I tell you guys, this isn't for everybody. And then also make sure you're looking at the real problem. It's not the broken router. It's that the internet is down. It's not the broken server. It's that services are not being provided for the network. You keep that kind of stuff in mind, and I think your life will be a lot easier. So the final thoughts for today are that I, in fact, deleted my LinkedIn account today. It is kind of surprising to realize that I have, in fact, had a LinkedIn account for about 7 years now, but today I decided it's just gotta go. So this kind of goes hand in hand with my feeling with Facebook. So as you guys know, back when I was doing the daily blobs, I got really pissed off one day because of all the crap that Facebook was doing, and I flat out deleted my Facebook account. So I had spent a lot of money creating my Eli the Computer Guy page. Obviously, I had spent a lot of time creating my Facebook account. But, after seeing all the things that Facebook was doing, I just decided enough is enough. At a certain point, we can complain about what all of these companies are doing, but at a certain point, if we ourselves don't take any action at all, especially if it is as simple as deleting an account, then what the hell are we complaining for, right? If we sit there and whine and bitch and moan about what Facebook is doing and what Google is doing and what all these companies are doing, but we won't even do the minuscule thing of deleting our account, then really, they're not the pieces of crap. We are, really. So I deleted my Facebook account about 3 months ago, and frankly, I haven't looked back. Honestly, it was one of those things I was a little worried about. I got on my high horse, I got on my soapbox, I deleted my account, and then frankly, after the video stopped rolling, I kind of went, oh crap, what the hell did I just do? But after 3 months, I really haven't missed it at all. Truly, honestly, I haven't fiended for Facebook. I don't feel there's any loss in my life. Basically, it's been going along well. So one of the things I was looking at is LinkedIn. So basically, LinkedIn is the Facebook for the business world, right? And so I go onto LinkedIn, every day, once or twice a day, to check on messages, to check on people, sending me invitations to friend them or connect with them or whatever. And what I realized, though, when I was sitting there and looking at LinkedIn yesterday, is that LinkedIn is it's supposed to be a professional social networking site. It's supposed to be a social networking site for business people and to get stuff done. And what I realized, honestly, hand a spaghetti monster, is after 7 years, I have made exactly $0 from LinkedIn. I cannot think of a single business transaction that has occurred or even been helped along because of LinkedIn. It is just one of those, things like you're supposed to create an account there, and so you do create an account there, and then you just keep care and feeding it for some reason. And kind of one of the final straws with it that I noticed is I get all these invitations from people, right? Because I'm now Eli the Computer Guy, and as time has gone on, I've been getting invitations from more and more significant people. And when I saw this at first, I was really excited. I started getting invitations from C-level executives in companies that I cared about. I was like, yes, this is awesome. And so they would invite me to create a connection. And then what I would do is I would then craft an email going, I am so happy that you want to create a connection with me. This is what I see that we can do together. And then I would hear nothing. And I did that. Again, when I complain about things, it's not because it happened once or twice or three times. It's like 5 times, 10 times, a dozen times. And that was one of the things. Somebody connected with me last week, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. And then again, sent them the message, and it goes into the netherworld. It just disappears. And so it's like, why am I creating this account? Why am I carrying feeding for this account? Why am I creating these connections? Why am I doing all of this activity on LinkedIn if LinkedIn literally brings me absolutely nothing? And then the concerning part is, because I have this social networking account on LinkedIn where I list my education, where I list my jobs, where I have pictures, all these people connect to me, that's a tremendous amount of information that I'm giving that company that I would never give unless there was an expectation that I would receive something back. And so when I gave all that information, there in fact was an expectation I would get something back, and 7 years later I realized that expectation was false. So yeah, that's what I decided to do. I just decided, like I said, with all this social networking stuff, one of the things I'll say, and again, I'm not proselytizing here. I'm not being an evangelist for getting rid of social networks. I'm not proselytizing getting rid of social networks. What I am finding for myself as a 38-year-old technology professional, a Gen X professional, do with that as you will, is that I was very interested in these social networking sites in the beginning. For a little while, they seemed like they were very good things, but now as I look at them like 7 or 8 years later, they're not valuable to me. They don't make my life any better. They don't really help with communication anymore. They don't get work done. All they seem to be is this weird. They're just weird. You know what I'm saying? And so, I'm going back to good old-fashioned email because that seems to work best. So one of those things, just to think for yourself. One of the things that I will bring up, because everybody hammers me over the head on it, is a lot of people consider that I am an NSA apologist. That seems a little harsh, but that's what they would peg me as, because again, I'm not don't have that many problems with what the NSA is doing. But one of the things that I will have you guys think about is and I just pissed off a lot of people. A lot of people are screaming at their, how dare you? Don't you realize the NSA? That's a discussion for another time. But what I will say is if the NSA makes you lose your mind, one of the questions I will just posit for you is, with Facebook, with LinkedIn, with all these other social networking sites, you are giving them all of this information. I mean, I have talked with real intelligence people who laugh about the fact that the NSA and the CIA 10 or 15 years ago, they couldn't even imagine something like Facebook. If you explained to an NSA agent 15 years ago Facebook or any of this stuff, they would laugh at you. The thought that everybody would document almost their hour by hour whereabouts and information and relationships and all of that, they would have thought that was just the dumbest thing in the world. And yet people do it very easily now. So again, if you do hate the NSA and all that, just think for a minute about the thought with all these social networks is, do you really feel that comfortable putting all this information in one place, again, for these private companies to do with as they will? I don't. For me, I will stick with Twitter. Twitter is the social network that I like. That is the one I'm sticking with. I do obviously have my Google accounts, but being a YouTuber, I'm kind of stuck with it. Google has me wrapped into their system in a way. Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter don't, because I am a YouTube content creator. I do make my money from AdSense on YouTube. So I'm kind of stuck in Google's world. So I will be with Google, and I will be Twitter. LinkedIn and Facebook are dead to me.